I'm going to go ahead and get started. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to PDSVISION Webinar Wednesday. My name is Sevi Beaver, and today we are going to be talking about multi-cad design environments, or in other words, we're going to be talking about using SolidWorks, NX, parts and assemblies from different CAD tools besides Creo and incorporating those directly into our Creo assemblies. The agenda for today, first I'm going to do a brief introduction to myself and PDSVISION. I'm then going to talk about the feature of Creo Unite. This is the tool that allows us to bring in CAD files from other programs directly into Creo. So I'm going to walk you all through what this can do specifically, what the benefits are for your organization, and I'll talk about specifically which file types we can bring in and what we can do with them. Finally, I'll do a demonstration. So I'm going to open up an assembly. I'm going to bring in a SolidWorks file, and we're going to investigate what happens when I make changes to that SolidWorks file, the workflow benefits that we're going to see in Creo by being able to incorporate this Creo Unite. Finally, we'll have a Q&A at the end. If you all do have questions as we go through this, feel free to submit them in the GoToWebinar questions section. I will try and keep an eye on this as I go. So if you have a question, feel free to just ask it whenever it comes to mind. I may miss some of the questions if I'm mid-demo, but at the very least, I'll get to them at the end. All right, brief introduction. My name is Sevi. I'm a CAD specialist at PDSVISION. I've been here for about 5 years. I have about 11 years of CAD and simulation experience. So before I was using Creo, I used SolidWorks, I used AutoCAD. So I specifically for this demonstration, I am familiar with multi-CAD design environments and the headaches that go with that. PDSVISION is the largest global PTC partner. We are headquartered in Stockholm, Sweden, but we have offices and operations around the globe. We mostly support PTC products. We think of ourselves as a everything partner, so we provide licenses for PTC products. We can sell you your Creo Unite license if you like this webinar demonstration. We also offer some of the other tools that you see on your screen that we think complement PTC's suites of products, including ANSYS, KeyShot, Simonsoft, Mold-X 3D, etc. I was saying everything PTC partner. Sorry, I kind of got off track, but we don't just sell licenses. We also do things as varied as consulting work, cloud hosting, Windchill, remote admin service, training. The list goes on and on. PDSVISION, our technical team is really top notch. We have a large percentage of our staff as engineers and technicians. Specifically, our Creo team, our simulation team, I think we have a very deep, talented roster with lots of years of experience. All right, so all that aside, I'm going to start talking about Creo Unite. This is a tool that has been around for several years at this point, and what it allows you to do is import and open non-Creo files, save data in non-Creo formats, so you can bring in a SolidWorks file, make a change, and save it back out as a SolidWorks file. You can also create and maintain design intent across CAD platforms. So what I mean by that is any changes made in SolidWorks to your SolidWorks files, these are going to update your Creo assembly. So if you have your SolidWorks files saved to Windchill, you have those directly built into your Creo assemblies. You open SolidWorks, you make a change to that SolidWorks file, you go back to Creo, that change is going to be reflected. So it allows seamless integration of using both of the tools in your everyday. So specifically the benefits here, the main one in my mind is no need to manage neutral file formats or manage multiple versions of exports and imports. So that same process I just mentioned, without this tool, you have to go into SolidWorks, you make a change. You then export the file as a neutral file format, so not a SolidWorks or a Creo file, something like a step file. You then have to make sure that you're managing those exports. So in addition to managing your SolidWorks files and your Creo files, you now have to manage your step files and the different versions that comes with that. And then every single time you have to manually come into Creo, you have to import that new step file, and you have to replace all the missing references, all of the things that change. It's going to break your Creo model, and you've got to fix all those features. So that's the normal process without Creo Unite. With Creo Unite, as I mentioned, that's a lot smoother. You're just going to go into SolidWorks, make the change. There's no exporting the step. There's no managing all those step files. There's no importing and breaking your Creo model. This is seamlessly connected, so the change made in SolidWorks is going to instantly be reflected in your Creo assemblies. That's the main benefit in my mind. Additionally, we can convert to Creo file only as needed. So kind of obvious, but we can leave these as SolidWorks files. We don't necessarily have to convert them to Creo unless we do want to permanently change that file type. More robust multi-cad models, changes in one are going to be reflected, or changes in SolidWorks rather, are going to be reflected. They're going to automatically update your Creo models, so you have less chance of your Creo model breaking. Higher levels of concurrent engineering. This allows you to work more closely and more collaboratively, more quickly with a different department or even a different company that's using a different CAD tool. And lastly, this can reduce your number of CAD platforms. I know a lot of people who work primarily in Creo, yet they have a SolidWorks license because they need to open up files in SolidWorks from time to time. In theory, using this tool, you can potentially get rid of that SolidWorks license that you don't use for real design work, saving you money and the time required to learn that tool. Okay, so what specifically can we do, or what file types specifically can be supported? I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a bit. You can see that for most of the main CAD tools, most of the main file types, you have full support for importing. When we say import, by the way, we mean we're bringing this file type into Creo and converting it to a Creo file. So that's the difference between import and open. If you open it, it's essentially still being treated as that file type. So a little bit more connection on the top file types, including SolidWorks, NX, CATIA. Additionally, so we can see import and open, and then we have the ability to update. That means any changes made to the original file. So if you make a change in SolidWorks, for example, that is going to instantly be reflected in Creo. It's going to automatically update. You have that full integration. So again, you have pretty much full support with the top or the main competitors to Creo, including NX, CATIA, SolidWorks, Autodesk Inventor. Finally, save as. That means you can save out as this file type. So you could actually open a SolidWorks file, use direct modeling or flexible modeling in Creo to make changes to that file, and then save that out as an updated SolidWorks file. So that functionality is there as well. I got a question. Can this be used for architectural work as well? The The answer is, of course, yes. If your architectural work is being done in one of these tools right here. I'm not the most familiar with architecture, but I think Revit is commonly used in that field, and there's not a lot of support here for that tool. But if you do architectural work in one of these supported tools, you know, that's of course going to be really helpful. That's fair game. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a demonstration and show how this actually works in practice. Very easy, very seamless. So I'm here in Creo 10. I'm going to go ahead and open up an assembly. And let's go ahead and enable the rest of this. There we go. This assembly is a gripper or a claw mechanism. Notably, this assembly is missing a component. So this component right here in this space we're going to bring in from SolidWorks. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble. First, I'm going to activate this subassembly. So activate, and I'm going to assemble in a SolidWorks component. Now we'll notice the default file open here showing Creo files. I'm not going to see anything else. Assuming you have this extension, I'm just going to go to SolidWorks assembly. We can see that, you know, down to the symbol used in SolidWorks, we can bring in this file saved as a SLD ASM. I'm just going to build this directly into my Creo assembly, and okay. We can see this is integrated flawlessly. Still a SolidWorks file type. Let's expand this model tree a little bit. Still a SolidWorks file type, but I can see these SolidWorks parts. I can access the surfaces, similar to bringing in a step file. I have certain operations I can do. You'll never, of course, be able to, you know, click on a boss made in SolidWorks and have that be treated like an extrude in Creo. But we are able to bring this in, and it's able to function as a SolidWorks file. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the copy geometry tool. Copy geometry allows me to select references like surfaces from this SolidWorks model, and have those be used as a reference, or have them be created in a different model used as a reference. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to activate this component right here. The end goal here, I'm going to make a cut through this component that reflects this geometry. So we can see that these geometries are intersecting. I want to make a cut that gives space for this SolidWorks component. So the way I'm doing that is I'm going to do a copy geometry to grab these SolidWorks surfaces, create them in my component here. So, okay, I'm going to do a copy geometry, and I'm going to grab these surfaces. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hide the SolidWorks component, and we can see this is my copy geometry feature that I just created. Oh, and I forgot a step actually. I'm going to jump back into this copy geometry. I forgot something here. I'm going to go into options and copy geometry update. I'm going to change this to manual update, provide notification. So what this is going to do is if these surfaces I selected change, so if, for example, we make a change to that SolidWorks part, we change the location of these surfaces. If that happens, then Creo is going to let me know, and it's going to give me the option to update this geometry. Okay, Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make an extrude on this top plane that I have selected here, and this is gonna be the cut that goes through this component. So I'm gonna do extrude. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go ahead and just offset from these edges. So I'm just using this copy geometry as a reference. I'm creating these sketch features or sketch lines based on the copy geometry, which is again based on the original SolidWorks part. I'm just going to do some sketch work, use my corner tool to extend these out. I'm going to make some fillets here. Make these equal size, and then I'll set my dimension. All right, looking good. And we can see how this cut is going to work. It's going to cut right through this component at a constant offset from my SolidWorks part, or from my copy geometry rather. Okay. Good. So I got a question here. Does this method require that SolidWorks file types or others be integrated into Windchill? So is Windchill or another similar tool, similar PLM tool required? The answer is no. So right now I'm working completely off of Windchill. I'm working locally. I'll actually show this in just a second what I'm going to do here, just manually drag and drop files basically. But no, you don't need Windchill. Another question. I have a boy interested in robotic design. Can he start learning these apps now? Good question. Not really specific to Creo, but always like to talk about that. So you can actually download there's a couple things that he can look into. There are several free CAD tools these days online. So if I was you, I'd look into free CAD tools online. I think Blender is not necessarily parametric CAD, but I think it's free and very, very popular. Additionally, the boy in question can download a student license. SolidWorks, I know, student license, and I believe Creo has a student license that are available for students or learners, enthusiasts to download. So I would definitely recommend that he number one, online free CAD tools, everybody can look into. Number two, you can download a student edition of SolidWorks, and I believe Creo. And that's something that definitely I would recommend playing around with. Okay, so back to my demonstration. Okay, this is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and show my SolidWorks assembly again. This is all looking good. Now in a second here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out this SolidWorks assembly for an updated version. I just want to point out how the end of this bolt head looks here. If you look at this hexagon shape here, it's larger than this piece on the end. This is smaller. So I'm just pointing out how this looks, and that's easy to see the difference there. And we'll notice it's going to change when I bring in the new file. All right. So this is my working directory right here. So we can see all these files. This is the Creo assembly that I have built in. And additionally, we can see there are some SolidWorks files here. We're also going to notice these .creo files that are created when I bring a SolidWorks file into Creo. This is how the Unite tool is actually working behind the scenes. the technology of it is essentially you're bringing in the SolidWorks part, and then Creo is creating a .creo part based on that SolidWorks part. So, for the most part, this is unimportant, but it's important. Well, it is important to understand, how this works and what these files are. But for a user, there's not really anything you have to do to manage these files, I would say. It's going to be done automatically. So what I'm going to do, I just have the modified SolidWorks files here. So I'm just going to copy and paste. Of course, if you were working in SolidWorks, you just do a file save, and that would replace the files. But I'm kind of simulating working in SolidWorks here, so I just have the original file in one folder, and then I have the new file in a different folder. So I'm just copying and pasting my updated SolidWorks assembly into this working directory. So I'm just going to, replace those files. Okay. Jumping back to Creo. I might have messed up and did this in the wrong order. We're going to see, but I'm going to do a file save. I'm going to close out and I'm going to erase not displayed. Now, the next time I open this, so I'm just, immediately I'm going to jump back and pull this back up. And we're going to notice a couple things happen. So I'm going to hide the rest of this stuff again. First of all, that bolt head that I pointed your attention to, I made a note that this piece was larger than this piece. This end was smaller. We'll notice that with this change reflected, they're now the same size. So what happened is this SolidWorks component updated automatically. Additionally, Creo gave me a notification. My copy geometry tool is out of date. You'll remember that I told Creo, don't automatically update that feature. Just let me know. So what I can do is then I can, find that copy geometry feature. And just like I would do with changes reflected in normal Creo, there's nothing unique to Creo Unite here. But I can then go into update control. I can manage my update, and then I can go ahead and execute that. So seamless integration, just as if this was a Creo part. When I make a change in SolidWorks, it's going to be reflected, and any features that are derived from the SolidWorks, like a copy geometry, are going to update as you would expect as well. Okay. Just to mention briefly, training for we are since COVID, we are back in full swing with training. If you are a company that is interested in training for Creo or anything similar, we would be happy to talk to you about that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to any more questions that we have. On the screen right now is my email. So sevi.beaver@pdsvision.com. That did change recently. So if you still have an old email, I want to say just a few months ago or over the summer, then be sure to switch over to this one. I will still get the old email address forwarded for the next, I want to say 6 months or so, but may as well be safe and use this new email address. Sales questions, this email has also changed. So sales-NA is the new email for PDSVISION. Of course, if you're in North America, if you're in a different region, you can just email me or the NA sales team, and I'm sure they can help you out. And lastly, check out our YouTube page, PDSVISION on YouTube. Lots of really good videos there, lots of helpful information. You'll probably come across it just by doing Google searches eventually anyway, but worth checking out if you got some free time. Okay, so gonna address some questions. I already talked about how this does not require wind chill. It can be done locally or on a PLM system. And I got a question that will this work on files shared? I'm sorry, will this work on files saved in a shared drive? So if you and your company, kind of as an in-between solution between, working completely locally and working on a PLM system, if you use a shared network drive that everybody's able to connect to on, as long as they're on the same, Wi-Fi network or VPN in or whatever, it's a really popular file management solution as well. Yes, this works completely fine with that. No problems there as long as you save the files in the right place. It'll work just fine. How does this work with SolidWorks parts with configurations? Now it's been a while since I've worked with SolidWorks. When you say parts with configurations, I'm trying to remember what exactly that's referring to. Is that similar to a family table in Creo where it's going to be parts with multiple variations? If that's the case, let me know. Similar to instances or family tables. Okay. That is a good question, and the answer is I do not know. That's a very good question. I will look into that. And I have your email, so I will reach out to you this afternoon with what I find there. Honestly, do not know. I haven't tried it. But that's a great question. It would be really great if that was incorporated into Creo in some way. Okay. I think that is all we got. If anybody has any additional questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Will this webinar be available for sharing? The answer is yes. The webinar is going to be uploaded to YouTube. Just a second. Let me see if I still got the link for that. Just one second. I'm going to see if I can find that. Should be on YouTube. Bear with me here for a second. I just want to confirm that. Confirm that I can find this. Because last I checked, I could not find our webinars on the main page. Let's see. Oh, yep. Okay, yeah. Here they are. Yeah, so they're going to be uploaded on the YouTube page here. So just PDSVISION. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't find those before, but yep, they're right here on YouTube. Okay. I think that is all we got. As I said, any additional questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. See you next time.